Hey everybody, this is Johnny from the Beers and a Lot podcast. Welcome to episode 6. We're going to get right into the Stanley Cup Finals. It stands one game apiece between Dallas and Tampa. Also, is Steven Stamkos playing in this series? He's taken a few practice loops. We'll see what happens with that. We dive into Beer League story time very quickly as we talk about some of the coaching exploits we've had previously. And Pietrangelo, does he fit in the 6 with the Toronto Maple Leafs? Welcome to episode 6. Make sure you like, subscribe on our social media channels, and let's get at it.
I think it's about time for beers. I don't know about you guys.
Yes, always.
With me?
It's always time for beers.
Beers time.
Let's go.
Time. Let's go. Mm-hmm. That one looked like it stung the nostrils, John. What are you drinking tonight?
It's not Sex Panther IPA, that's for sure. I have a Flying Dog Thunder Peel this evening.
Whoa.
Flying Dog located in gorgeous Frederick, Maryland.
Indeed.
What about you, Danny? What are you drinking?
Coastal Love Hazy IPA by Wicked Weed Brewing. Very tasty, hazy. What you got, Aaron?
I've got another Moosehead Rattler.
Weird.
I've got a cache of these.
So I see you don't like variety.
Well, it's what's available.
Summer's over, Aaron.
He's the only man on the East Coast that still has Moosehead Radlers left
right.
after Labor Day.
Look for him on Drizzly, I guess. What's that?
Yeah.
What's
yeah.
that service that sells
He'll come-
it? Like door to door?
No.
Yeah, like the Uber.
Yeah, they'll
booze.
deliver it. Yeah.
Aaron's gonna set up his own account, just sell Rattlers.
He's going to deliver Drizzly.
They are good. I will say that.
No, Moosehead Radler's very
The time
good.
is definitely running out.
Yeah, it's definitely not summertime anymore. It was 38 degrees this morning.
Yeah, come on, Aaron, get with it.
How about you, Eric? What are you drinking?
So I have a Flying Dog brew as well, John Walker. I have their 30th anniversary beer because Flying Dog is 30 years old now. It's called Great Job. It's a West Coast style double IPA. It's courtesy of our good friend and teammate Brandon McGee, who is over at Flying Dog. He brought it by today.
Excellent.
So yeah,
Right on.
Stellar.
pretty tasty, pretty good.
A bottle
Nice.
as well.
If you're look at the artwork. Ralph Steadman.
Always on
Very
point.
nice.
Yeah.
Always on point.
Yeah. If you're a hophead, it's pretty good.
Good stuff.
Very nice.
So what's on the docket tonight? We saw game 2 yesterday. Series is evened up. Much better showing out of the Bolts this time around than the first game, or as opposed to the first game.
I like Tampa's performance. I actually thought their third period in game 1 was very encouraging for them. Dallas still analytically, and I'm sure, people complain, but analytically, Dallas is just not a very strong team. Now, they are winning on the scoreboard when it matters. Bannered into the Cup Final a -2 goal differential. If you would have just saw game 1, you wouldn't have thought that. But then Tampa in period 3 really took it to them and get on the scoreboard. But last night, they really got to Khudobin by doing everything Tampa does really well. They put pucks to space, they move the puck around. And one thing they kind of stole out of Dallas's playbook, I thought, was they started putting a lot more pucks on net. They were kind of, I wouldn't say definitely like looking for the prettiest goals. They were still shooting the puck, but last night you could tell there was a conscious effort on all parties on their team just to make sure that puck is going to the net at all times.
Got to go north.
That's kind of funny because I thought Dallas started really well in game 2. They were really controlling play and they were driving play until they got into penalty trouble. And then Tampa kind of said, you know what, we're going to score on these power plays and take the game over and just run with it. And they did. The other thing that was kind of weird was, John, you're saying Tampa decided we're just going to start getting pucks on net. At the same time, I thought, and the guys on the broadcast Ed Olczyk and those type of guys were remarking on the fact that Dallas would get the puck to the middle, particularly Radulov would get the puck to the middle of the ice and then not shoot. He would defer to someone else. I guess, trying to get Vasilevsky to move or something like that. But it was kind of interesting. It was like a role reversal between game 1 and game 2, where Dallas all of a sudden became very selective, and Tampa just said, you know what, we're going to take the puck over and like get all these shots against Khudobin.
Well, Tampa generally does outshoot their opponents, but Tampa definitely, there are 3 or 4 shots I can remember, maybe a few from Kucherov, where normally some of those angles that he made an effort just to get it to the net at this point.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Tampa too, especially after that first game, it really got them on their heels. Victor Hedman kind of looked, I wouldn't say he looked up to his normal, the Victor Hedman we're used to. He looked pretty average almost. And you could say that maybe because on playoff run, bubble fatigue, Dallas hits more, all that. But I think at this point, I think that's the MO against Tampa. You got to go after the defensemen. They're all going to do that, especially Hedman.
Dallas did a good job of stopping the bleed, though, because Tampa took it to him in the first, but they didn't score at all in the second or third.
No,
Yeah,
they
they're
kind of
just
hanging
hanging
on. Yeah, they did.
So I think that was just they had a bad period. Like Riggs said, they got into penalty trouble, but I think they kind of locked it down throughout the rest of the game and started to mount a comeback. Couldn't get it done, but I think that's good for the next game moving on.
Yeah, if they just rolled over and accepted that 3-0 after the first period, then yeah, that would not have bode well for their coming games. Because like you said, at least they can build off of their second and third periods and take that in momentum into the next game.
The one thing I did really kind of notice about that game last night too, there was a lot more kind of snarl. I mean, there's a little more gamesmanship too. Just the physicality of the series is starting to pick up. I think a lot, both teams realize the opportunity at hand. There's a lot of guys on both sides of the ice that have been around for a while, either this chip on their shoulder because they missed out on close opportunities, or realize that this may be their only one shot at a cup final and a cup victory, especially.
Can Dallas afford to play that way though? Like if they're going to get sucked into all that and they're going to take penalties like they were, and Tampa is going to, adjust the way that they did and start scoring goals on those power plays, can Dallas really afford to play that style of game and expect to be successful? I would say like they have to be really disciplined. They can't run around. They can't get sucked into, some of the stuff that was going on in game 2 that did get them into penalty trouble. Things were happening after whistles, and then when play would start up again, they were kind of free with sticks, and they were coming in late and things like that. Like, I don't know if that's a good strategy for them against Tampa, whose power play seems to have woken up.
Yeah, heading into it, they were not doing very well. They were clicking under 20%. And especially if you're Tampa too, you live by the sword, die by the sword. I think even strength, special teams, they're going to find a way to score with that roster and the way they play. They will. The one thing though, Dallas, and I'm not saying this is maybe cliche, but Columbus last year, they pushed them around early and they had their way with them in the first round. Columbus tried to do it this year. It didn't work very well against Tampa. Tampa kind of did the same thing. And you could say Dallas definitely pushed them around a little bit. Tampa was there the whole game. Now Tampa, it almost looks like they're the aggressor. So they're scoring goals and they're going to, kind of initiate the physical play and kind of do the nonsense after the whistle, which you could say does or does not get you off your rocker. But I mean, if you're going to be Dallas, like you said, taking an extra penalty or taking, 2 or 3 guys to the box, in a given play, that's not a good recipe for Dallas, especially since not everyone on their team is, Joe Henley scored in game 1, so that helps. But, who's going to do the scoring for Dallas. Tampa, they have their main players, but there's a lot more guys that are doing it by committee on that team.
Yeah.
Both teams are pretty physical throughout the playoffs. I saw a graphic today. I was trying to find it. Dallas, I think, is in the top 3 in hitting in this postseason, and the Lightning were number 6. So both teams are not afraid to hit. I guess it's just whoever wears out who first.
Well, and would you say Dallas is closer to the top because they don't have a puck? I would say that's part of it too.
Possibly.
Yes.
They got some big boys too.
They do have some big boys. I mean, we were talking about in our one group text, Jamie Oleksiak, who really has played well this playoffs. He's one of kind of the unsung heroes on that Dallas decor. The Penguins got him and traded him away 12 months later. Jim Rutherford has done that 5 times since he's been with the Penguins. Thanks, Jim. But a guy that maybe a lot of people didn't see a lot of value in, being 6'7", but he can move the puck. He's a smart guy, and he's really physical. He knows what he's doing out there.
He's got hands too.
Yeah, he skates very, very well.
He has some skill. He's not just that big dumb defenseman that runs around and hits people and stuff. I want to go back to gamesmanship though. Is Stamkos coming back?
I think everybody wants
to
final. I would love to see Stamkos because I like him. I like him as a player. I think he's a good dude. He's very soft-spoken, but I don't like what you're kind of saying. If he's not going to play, why is he taking warm-ups? Why is
Cooper talking about him? Like, he's like, John Cooper almost baits the media to ask about Stamkos' status for the next game, like every day. And, I tend to think like if the coach is talking about a player, he's probably close, but is this just all like gamesmanship bullshit that
it could be because Dallas has to invest the cycles into figuring out what they're going to do if he's playing. So it might be a distraction. It might also be that he is coming back. Who knows? I think it's smart to play it up, though.
Hammer hasn't played a single minute, and he's been in the bubble the entire time. So that's a little strange. I get you want to be there the entire time, but I don't see him, to begin with, I don't see him going to the bubble in the event they don't play. Or he plays, I should say.
I mean, I do. He's now in this. It's now the Stanley Cup Finals, so members of the team being in the bubble doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, but he's been there. He's been there since
he's been
July.
There the whole time.
Yeah, he's been there the whole time.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yes, but he's also one of the stars of the team, etc. So if they are close to the cup, if he's playing or not, he's going to stay there so that he can celebrate with the team if they win.
I don't know. It seems. There's got to be something there. Oh, I want something to be there because I like him too. Like, he's one of the good guys in the league, right? And
you root for a guy like that,
right? And he's a skilled player. He's a talented player. He's exciting. Like, he's put up a ton of points and goals. Like, I want to see him play. I want to see them win if he plays, so he can accept the cup as the captain of that team. And, so maybe that's just me projecting.
And the one thing too, if you're Tampa and John Cooper and Steven Stamkos, they've been dressing 7D the entire playoffs until last night. They dressed 6D. Just let everyone to believe, another forward's drawing in.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Stamkos.
Yeah.
So you got to think, if Stamkos is, let's say hypothetically, going to take that 12th forward spot, is he going to play 60 minutes? Now we understand that's not going to be Kucherov or point minutes because he'll probably see, I would imagine, a lot of special teams.
Yeah,
and then maybe some offensive zone starts, stuff like that.
Yeah.
What if and they didn't even say he's unfit to play, using air quotes here. So what is his injury? Is it something where if he skates, it hurts you, and then now you're down another forward?
Yeah, they didn't say, they're not using the term unfit for play with him anymore. They're using the term unlikely.
Right.
Yeah. Which
it's a step forward, right?
And even
that's what I'm like. Okay, like he could.
It could happen,
right? Like,
it could happen.
Play.
Yeah, and even watching kind of the drills they're doing in practice, and I understand it's Stanley Cup Final type practice where it's a lot of flow stuff, special team stuff. You're not really doing any battle drills or anything like that, but he's just taking like the normal line rushes, practicing one-timers, and that's really all you see. So looking at those videos, it's kind of like, oh, it's another Tuesday morning for Stamkos in practice. So there's no way to even understand what's wrong, what's not wrong. And I remember we kind of talked about it a while ago. He was rehabbing from a lower body injury, and then in the rehab or something that it affects something like that.
He had an abdominal thing during the season. He missed a ton of time. The break was good for him, and I think the story is that he was better and he came back to like the return to play camp or practices or whatever it was called, and he re-injured himself. But I don't think it was ever clear if like it was the same abdominal thing or if it was something new or whatever. But the bottom line was the guy wasn't going to play from July on. So I want him to play.
And I think if you're Tampa,
I'm really trying here.
I think if you're Tampa, you get a guy like that back on your power play too.
Oh,
and if Dallas is going to give you 2 to 4 power plays a game,
dude, he like everybody's like, oh, Ovechkin's office is that left wing circle with the right hand shot. Stamkos is the guy where that's the original guy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It might be Ovi's office now, but it was Stamkos.
That's where Stamkos was scoring a lot of his goals, like early on.
Yeah, so, Stamkos was voted out his second term. Ovechkin took over. Yeah. That's what happened.
So hey, we're getting political here.
Yeah. What's our rule, John? No politics.
No politics. That's as close to a November political reference you'll get. Yeah, and especially too at that power play. I mean, they have so many combinations they could throw at you, and if you get a guy on the right circle, they have Tyler Johnson there now on some of the duty as a right-handed shot on that left-hand side, and he does a decent job, but he's not Stamkos. He's not Steven Stamkos.
Well, and so going back to game 2 on the power play stuff, those two power play goals, the first two. What struck me was they really made an attempt to get the puck across the middle of the ice and get Khudobin to like lose his position a little bit. I mean, on the Palat goal, like he was way off in, the stand somewhere. It was empty net. But on the first goal with Point, like it was a real quick bang, bang, 5 to 6 foot pass that just kind of got Khudobin to move his feet one way and then the other. And it opened up like that whole left side of the net, and Point bangs it home. So I thought that was interesting. Like it looked like they were making a concerted effort to use different options other than Kucherov on the right-hand side and, Hedman or Sergachev up top. And get Khudobin moving laterally to open him up. It was pretty interesting. I was sitting there watching it and I actually yelled at the TV, like they opened him up. Like it was pretty, I don't know. I was excited.
especially since Khudobin plays so far deep in his net. It almost looked like Khudobin was further out this game. I guess maybe someone told him like, hey, you're playing a little deep. Let's move you up a little bit just to prevent, some of the inside stuff. And now they're working cross ice now. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see, how he kind of maintains his distance to the net this game, especially now that Tampa, they kind of figured out, I would say both goalies at this point, they got, if you will, like the players, I think all have confidence now. They're not the kind of, goalie in your head thing. I think both teams don't have that at this point. Yeah. They don't have that.
Yeah. They don't have that psychological advantage anymore. Yeah.
No. I mean, the cup is staring at him from up top. It almost looks like a scene from Batman.
I know.
Standing there. It's so weird.
I thought it was kind of, it reminded me of like medieval times or something. like even more so, even than the hokey, like the Vegas Golden Knights, that stupid thing that they do before every game where they.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Come on. have the
Stop.
knight fight like the other team in effigy or whatever, and like it's like medieval time. This was even worse because it's like the trophy's up there on this platform for the players to see. Like, this is what you're playing and dying for. Like, you know, like,
It's almost like Iron Chef, like that guy's at the top, you know, like telling everybody down in the chef stadium there. Hey, this is what you guys play for.
yeah,
This big onion I'm about to bite into.
Yeah, you're gonna have to use this octopus and these oranges and make food for the Stanley Cup.
I bet you Qdoban, though. I bet you he looks like a type of guy that would love a good lunch at medieval times with the big beers and the big turkey legs.
Oh yeah,
I bet you he was excited.
And he would just walk around without his shirt on, and just like he'd be all sweaty, and like he'd have a big beer in one hand and the turkey leg in the other, and they'd be chasing him around. Sir, please put your shirt back on. He's like, what?
Yeah.
More beer.
I'm not going home. Yeah.
Well, it seems like a good time to make another reference to some popular culture by saying that we're not fucking leaving. We're not fucking leaving.
That's
the podcast will continue after the Stanley Cup. So be sure that you guys are listening. We're going to put out new episodes every week. So we're not going anywhere. We're going to keep it coming. We've got loads of stories and stuff from our league and everything to talk about. And on that note, I think we should share one. So I think I'm going to pass the stage to Rigsby here.
Yeah. So this came up. It was prompted by a story that I saw on Facebook about a kid. I forget what part of the country he was in, but they actually went back to school. Like, they're physically in school, and they have to wear masks, right? Because this is COVID-19 time. And he's wearing his mask in gym class, and it happened to be a mask from Hooters, the restaurant bar that some of us have frequented several times.
Yeah, great wings.
Every coaching clinic Eric and I have ever been to.
There it is.
One of us has a golf bag from Hooters.
So
that's right.
So I saw
people forget.
I
saw
bachelor parties are fun.
I want that. Okay, here you go. I wasn't
Give me
even there. I wasn't even there. I know that story.
That's exactly what happened.
So the kid has his mask on, and teacher or principal is like, "That's inappropriate. You got to take it off or turn it backwards or whatever." And so the kid's dad finds out, and he's like, "Why is that inappropriate? Like, what's wrong with that?" And so I sent it to the guys here on the group text. And then it got me thinking about the time when John Walker and I were coaching together. This is when my son was still in mites. And we went to a tournament down in Ocean City, the Mites Beach Bash. Hopefully we don't get in trouble for saying which tournament it was or where it was. Probably not. Nobody listens anyway. So you know, when you go away to these tournaments, whether it's us, you know, our teams, you know, the men's league teams, or if it's, you know, when we're coaching the kids, we always try to do stuff, right? We try to do lunches and dinners, and you know, if it's our teams, like, we hang out at different bars and stuff. If it's, you know, teams that I'm coaching or John and I were coaching back in the day, we'd set stuff up with the parents and go, you know, different things. So on the Saturday of the tournament, we were like, let's get the whole team out to lunch. You know, let's figure out where to go. We're like, we're in Ocean City. We're playing at the Carousel Hotel, which has a little sheet of ice in it. It's the only sheet of ice in that part of the state of Maryland.
That's right.
And so we're like, we're up in North Ocean City, Maryland. Let's go to the Hooters in North OC. So we get all the parents together, all the kids, and we go there. And they give us, like, they have like this upstairs loft area, right? That kind of has a nice view of a little, it's not a marina. Like, there's all these townhouses with boat slips and stuff. So you can, like,
On
see
the bay
water.
side of it. Yeah, on the bay side of Ocean City.
So, we're in the Hooters and, get some wings and some beers and stuff, right? Well, turns out John and I are the only ones that order beers of the adults that were there.
And mind you, we played our games for that day. We were done.
Yeah, we're done. We're done for the day.
We were done for the day, and this is a mini vacation. We wanted to enjoy ourselves.
Time at Hooters. Let's have a couple beers.
We weren't ordering fireball shots or anything crazy.
We're not being crazy. That was at the hotel bar later.
That was exactly.
That's
way
what
after
this is
the
about.
kids were in bed.
Way after the kids were tucked away. Yeah.
But like later, like we were talking about it. Why didn't the parents, have a good time
have
at
a pop
lunch?
or two.
Right. Just have a couple beers or something. That's what it's about, right? Like, it doesn't matter where we go as hockey people.
That's kind of weird to me, actually.
Right?
That nobody enjoyed a beer.
Yeah, right.
It was weird. Like, and I don't know if I've seen probably half of those kids to this day after that season. I think a lot of those kids either went other places or stopped playing.
It all stemmed from you having beers at Hooters.
I guess. I don't know, man.
Apparently, they don't have the right attitude. They're not teaching them properly.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like we always talk about like hockey community, right? Like, we're all in this together. It's players, coaches, parents, people that work at the rink, officials,
volunteers, everybody,
Yep.
Right? It takes everyone. So everybody should have a good time. Everybody should have fun. But anyway, like the Hooters masked kid story, like it jogged my memory, and I was like, oh, I remember that time. John and I took all the kids and their families to Hooters, and we were the only ones drinking at lunch.
Well, and the worst thing is, like, none of the parents expected us to babysit or anything like that. But it was more comical because it was Eric and I's party, kind of, we were having a few pops or two, and then before you know it, we look around and there are a bunch of people with like waters and diet sodas.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't my party. What's going on here?
Yeah. Is this a hockey tournament or what?
Yeah,
like,
what's
what
going
is
on?
going on?
What's going on here? But then the comical thing is later in the tournament, and we're definitely not saying names, they were downstairs watching other games because, like Eric said, at the hotel, the rink, you could actually kind of stand out from where your room is on the balcony there, look down and watch the games.
That's
there
cool.
were quite a few parents enjoying a cocktail or two.
Oh, yeah.
And there were some that were even walking around with their coffee cups. And it wasn't a cup of Joe.
No. There was...
No.
It was not... It wasn't coffee. It wasn't cold brew or whatever the kids drink now.
Well, this was like, what, 6-7 years ago? Something like that?
Yeah, it was a
while ago.
Yeah, it might have even been that first beach bash.
Pre-cold brew.
Pre-cold brew.
I heard somebody hit the cooler a minute ago here.
Yeah, I just had to tap the Rockies.
Oh, boy.
Breaking out the
Silver
bullets.
bullet.
Yeah.
People all over the world, join hands.
Yeah, the train must be
Start
driving
a
by your
love
house,
train.
Danny.
That's right.
Train's coming by the tracks, gonna freeze your driveway. Better put some ice melt out.
We'll probably get a DMCA notice now because I sang part of the song.
Yeah, right.
I don't think it was good enough to hit
No,
the
it's not going
AI.
to trigger. It's not going to trigger the bots.
They're not going to find it.
They can hop on the sponsorship if they want.
Anyone is more than welcome. Also, I guess to pivot really quick here, talking about, people in the wrong place, hit it really quick, being as the Cup Final's almost over and free agency and all that's on the horizon, there's going to be a lot of flux with a lot of teams, especially, seeing how many of those teams are going to spend to the cap, and then what teams aren't even going to hit close to that. Did anyone see the news out of St. Louis that they are advising Alex Pietrangelo to do free agency? Is that
Yeah,
crazy?
they're
Or is it
telling him
just
to
me?
shop around. I think
How do
it's
I feel about
crazy.
that?
He's a great player.
My only defense of St. Louis on that one is he's on the wrong side of 30. You already won a cup.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are a team like St. Louis where a lot of those guys that are older, Pietrangelo being one, you already had to get rid of Jake Allen, unfortunately, and I think he played a better playoffs than Binnington. So do you think they're kind of retooling already in St. Louis, or do you think this may have been part of their plan all along? That was a mighty crack.
And Rigsby answers.
A mighty crack.
I'm sorry I missed all that. I was getting a beer.
It's okay. That's what Pietrangelo is doing right now. He's probably just getting some suds.
He's gonna be getting beers in Toronto.
Who are they moving out though? Who are they going to move out to accommodate that?
Engvall, Janssen.
Oh, so all their guys on the third line.
Yeah, they can move out all those bottom six type of guys and bring him in.
But then they don't have anybody in the bottom six.
Yeah, but they could find you. Look, man.
They could backfill
See, I
from
actually-
the Marlies. Yeah.
Look, man.
a bunch of guys on entry levels.
There are very few bottom six players in the forward lines in the league that aren't interchangeable. Okay, there are some, right? That like there are third line centers that are borderline irreplaceable on certain lineups, right? But
When you also say that's for a small window too, like you don't see like a third line guy his entire career, and you're like, man, you need him to win a cup. It's more, I see a window of about 3 to 4 years where that guy, you're like, I need a guy like him.
here's my thing, being close to like a lot of like Washington Capitals blog people and Twitter people and stuff. There's a lot of emotional attachment to some of those bottom six players that to me is like completely irrational. Like, yeah, you want to root for those guys because they're hard workers and they contribute sometimes or whatever. But when it comes down to like constructing a roster, move them in, move them out. Don't give
Jay
him
Beagle is your dog.
Dude, I have a signed picture of him right underneath of Daniel Alfredson, by the way, when he was with Beagle was with the
John.
Hershey Bears.
Don't trigger John.
I don't even want to hear about Daniel Alfredson. I got semi heated when I saw that the Senators are bringing back the old logo to make it their new logo, and the picture they used was Daniel Alfredson. It triggered me a little bit just seeing that guy.
You know who else shot a puck at some people? Pat
Who?
Maroon. Pat Maroon of Tampa Bay.
Oh, that's right. He got
at the end of game one.
Do you hate him now?
Do you hate him now?
I was never a big Pat Maroon fan. I like him. I think he's a good player, but I'm not. He's a guy I actually think I'm actually almost happy that the NHL marketplace didn't jump over for a guy like that, because he just won a cup. He was a big part, but he only got $1 million 1 year to go to Tampa Bay.
Well,
now he make another cup out of it.
I mean,
that's another argument.
No offense to him, but like, have you seen him skate?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a reason he's called Big Rig.
Yeah, like
there's a reason.
Don't we have
anything wrong with that?
Don't we have a Maroon cosplayer amongst us? Was it Maroon that you played in the commercial?
No. It was oh my god.
It was a St. Louis guy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was St. Louis guy. I'm completely spacing.
Come on, TV star.
Oh, was it Polak? It was Roman.
Yeah, it was Roman Polak.
That's
yes,
right.
Roman Polak.
Because your actual doppelganger is Todd Bertuzzi.
Or Justin Schultz. Justin Schultz with the cup in 2016.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, whatever. But yes, I did for 12 hours one day. I played a St. Louis Blues Roman Polak.
We should have talked about the fact that you guys are rooting for Tampa and I'm rooting for Dallas just because you guys are rooting for Tampa.
I'm not. All right. I'm not rooting for Tampa. I'm rooting against Corey Perry.
Yes.
I'm rooting for Steven Stamkos. Hopefully he plays at least like a power play in the Cup Final. I'm rooting for Victor Hedman. I used to not like that guy, but
Hedman?
Yeah, I used to not like him, but like over the last couple years, maybe like 3-4 years, like that guy, I mean, how does a guy that big move that well, have those hands, he's so smart. Like that guy is unbelievable. Great defenseman.
You were talking about how big he was the other day. I didn't actually realize it until I saw him like in like a big pile.
Oh, he's huge.
Oh my god, that guy's
He's a
massive.
giant. He's a giant, man. And then he skates like the wind.
Yeah.
Like, how does that guy move that well? So I want Hedman to win. I want Stammer to win. Kucherov's impressed me. He's at least done the work this playoffs. He deserves to win. I really love John Cooper. But that's who I'm rooting for. I'm not rooting for Tampa. Tampa has to win for those guys to win, but like Coop, Stammer, Hedman, let's go.
Well,
I'm just trying to make it interesting.
And Braden Point, man. Braden Point.
So
I do like Braden Point.
That guy has to be playing through some kind of injury right now, and he's still
looks decent.
Skating
He's
all
still
over
doing
the place.
shit.
Scored power play goal in game 2. Like, come on, man. Tampa. Let's go.
This is the other thing about Tampa, Danny, versus Dallas thing. Everybody is
Danny's
this is a
shaking his
copycat. Hold on, wait. Let me finish my point. And it's true. It's a copycat league. So how many teams after this year, let's say Dallas wins, teams will go, fuck the analytics. It doesn't matter because analytics don't fucking matter. We suck at all our analytics. We'll hire a bunch of players. You don't score in the fucking regular season, and who fucking cares?
That's what I want to see. Anarchy.
Tampa plays a very sexy brand of hockey. And also, I like the fact that everyone on their team contributes. They have Eric Chernak and Kevin Shattenkirk, and the way they play, it's a great style of hockey. Yeah,
Coleman,
Goodrow, Sherrod,
Yanni Gord.
Yeah,
all those guys.
They play a great style of hockey.
I'm rooting for Tampa Bay.
Let's go Dallas. Just to spite you guys. Hey, you know what? I already called Tampa in 2004, so I can't root for them again.
This is true. This is a true story.
16 years ago.
16 years ago.
Preseason.
This guy is a Penguins fan. And then in preseason, before preseason, no games were even played yet. This guy says, I think Tampa's going to take it. That's what he says. He said, I think Tampa's going to take it before any preseason games win. And he got it right. They fucking won. So
Daniel was like the turtle man wrangling turtles up. Calling Tampa Bay.
He's like
I would have bet on it.
He's like Rain Man calling Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, guys, I want Dallas to win. And then I want Tampa to win. And then I want Dallas to win. And then I want Tampa to win so that we'll go to a game 7.
Game 7.
I think we can all agree on that. I think we all agree.
Game 7.
Game 7 is where it's at.
As long as
we go to game
team
7,
wins.
if we go to game 7, listeners, pay attention. If there is a game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals, we will not be dropping the episode on Wednesday. It'll be coming out on Thursday so that we can watch the game on Wednesday and do a podcast while we watch. So be ready for that. If we go to game 7, podcast is coming out on Thursday, and it'll be a game podcast. So there you go. That's what I want to see. I want to see it go to game 7 because game 7s are awesome.
Game 7.
Here.
Stanley Cup Final. Let's go.
Yep. Overtime, preferably.
And then Tampa wins it.
And then Tampa.
Yeah. Game
Daniel's
7.
shaking his head
Let's
again.
say game 7.
Incorrect.
Let's say it's a 9-1 rout of Tampa. Steven Stamkos puts the puck in his own net just to make it seem more fair for Dallas. And, we'll call it that way. How about that?
I don't like where this podcast is going. I think I'm going to get off here.
Hey, you shouldn't get off here. We got plenty of cool stuff coming up here. We got to talk about this tournament that we're going to all be playing in about a month or so from now.
Yes.
Who wants to talk about what's coming up?
So,
the veteran, the Johnstown veteran.
Yes,
steps up to the helm.
I've been going since the first year that our beer league buddies have been putting together teams to go up to lovely Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
One of the meccas of hockey.
Some would say the second gem of Western PA.
It's time for the annual pilgrimage.
We play at the War Memorial in downtown Johnstown, where they filmed the hockey movie, Slapshot. Okay?
Let's make that very clear.
We don't recognize whatever happened after that. There's only one Slapshot movie, right? So the tournament is at the War Memorial, where they filmed Slapshot. The tournament is called the Slapshot Cup. It draws teams from all over the place, Buffalo, all over Western PA, because it is in Johnstown. It's only
Germany / Carolina.
It's only like an hour. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The Germans, which was just a bunch of Americans that spent like a couple years in the army over in Germany. So they called themselves the German team, but they were actually based like in Fort Bragg or something.
Thank you for your service, but you're Americans.
Yeah, but that was a disappointment. Sorry. Because we were all jazzed up to play Team Germany. So we've been going up there for a couple of years. It's a great weekend. Anybody that's played the game knows that tournament weekends are some of the most fun hockey you're going to play as a kid or as an adult. It doesn't matter, because you go away, you're away from life, you're away from school, you're away from work. You go away and all you're doing is hanging out with your teammates and playing hockey. It's probably as close as you can get to like being a pro on a road trip, right?
Yep.
You're in the hotel. You have roommates in the hotel.
You break things in the hotel.
Well, come on now. Like, the air conditioning was already broken.
They're not putting us up at Hotel X. Let's just say that.
I didn't break it. John broke it, but John broke the secondary air conditioning, which happened to be the mini fridge. That was in
the mini fridge.
All right, we can't spoil all the stories though, so we got to save some of the stuff.
So, Aaron, when is the tournament?
It is the weekend of October 23rd. It's going to be all 3 days. 23rd is going to include the drive up to Johnstown, and then probably a game. 24th, we're probably going to end up playing a couple games. 25th, maybe a game, maybe 2 games. Hopefully not. Hopefully we're not in the championship and we can just go home, because we're going to be wanting to go home. But so the other thing we want to mention is that we're going to be doing some guests soon. We're not really sure how soon. Like, we don't really have a timeline for this yet, but we're thinking that we are going to bring on some of the folks from our men's league, because there's a bunch of interesting stories to tell. We got some pretty interesting characters in our league, and we're gonna showcase a few of them, I think, and not just from our league, other folks that we know in the hockey world as well too. So that's in the works.
All right, guys, that's it for tonight. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcast app. And also don't forget, if Dallas and Tampa go to Game 7, we will be recording the podcast on Wednesday during Game 7, which which means the pod will post on Thursday instead of on Wednesday. So no matter what happens in the series, we'll see you sometime next week.